Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody has a font called Ornament Labels and Frames under DA Fonts, and I have it. And they want to make a frame out of one of the letters. This is actually a font, and it came out really cool. And they were asking a couple of questions, so I thought I'd just make a video. And if you're not familiar with DA fonts, there is the ornament. You just download it. I've got plenty of videos on how to do that. So, and I don't know if some of you remember my macro. I'm going to hit alternate A, and it's going to bring up my ABCs. And this particular font, so I don't have to type out the ABC. This particular font doesn't use caps, or they do, but they're not as good. So we're just going to go here and go to this ornament pictures and frames. And when you've got this typed out, here's the one we used right here, and they were wanting to get rid of that line. So we need to take that font and go Control K to break it apart. Now we have just that one. We're going to make it 22 inches with our ratio locked so it doesn't distort it. And now we're going to get rid of that line. You need to go to Object and convert it to a curve. And then when you do that, two things you could do. You could break the curve apart, but that doesn't work on this font. So what I would do is convert it to a curve. Just go through here and delete these nodes. I'm just hitting the delete key. So that got rid of that bar. Now there's a couple other little tidbits in this font. These are not touching. So when we use them later, we have to fill them in individually. And this font's pretty clean. So we're going to just leave those alone. We'll deal with them in a minute. But I'm going to make my nudge factor, or my size, 22 inches now. And I'm going to make my nudge factor 22 inches. I am going to go ahead and select this, and I'm going to left click, right click, so we just have the outline. I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and then move it down, and then mirror it that way, so there will be equal. Now I'm going to take this, Control D and make a duplicate, and rotate it 90 degrees. And you can see they match up pretty good. Now at this point, we've got a lot of stuff going on right here. We can just take the whole thing and weld it, and the weld will get rid of that garbage and make a kind of unique pattern. Now here's those parts I was talking about that aren't really meeting. So you could turn the whole thing black, and they do that, but sometimes you're going to have a problem here. So the better way to do it is take your Smart Fill tool and get on a bigger part and fill that all in. And then you could either delete those little curly cues, or you can use the Smart Fill tool on each every individual one. Doesn't take just a second. You want to make sure you zoom in, because if you get outside that line, you'll have a mess. But it's a pretty good idea to use it for a border or a frame around something. Let me go ahead and finish, and you'll see what it's going to look like. Anyway, pretty cool design. Now this particular deal would only really work if it's a square and not a rectangle. Now you could stretch it, but your graphic's going to be off a little bit. It's going to make these too wide. Now there is a way around that, and I might make a second video on how to do that. But anyway, hope that helped. Thank you for watching.